Welcome to Dapper Traveler. Today we're talking about Skiplagged. Skiplagged is a website app that performs a unique search for flights. There's nothing more frustrating than getting online trying to book a flight and expecting a price of 150 bucks and finding out the airline is jacked up to 400 because they have pretty much a monopoly on that city. Incredibly frustrating because you know that that flight should never cost that much. It just happened to me. I was trying to book a Delta flight from Charleston to Atlanta, and they were wanting to charge me $380 one way, which is just absolutely ridiculous because that's an hour flight and should not cost that much. Skiplagged, however, gives you kind of a way around that. So instead of having to pay $380 for the exact same flight, I was able to pay $115. Using them isn't perfect because there are some drawbacks to using the service, but you definitely save some money. We're going to show you how and why next. So by this point, everyone should be pretty familiar with this setup. If you live in Chicago, more than likely you fly United, and every flight goes through United or that area. If you live in the South, more than likely you're flying Delta, and everything's going through Atlanta. So how Skiplagged takes advantage of it, because not every flight is priced equally. So, for instance, in my case, I just wanted a flight from Charleston to Atlanta. It's a short flight. It's only 500 miles. Actually, I think it's less than 500 miles. It's only a 4.5 hour drive. So yeah, it's definitely less than 500 miles. It's a 4.5 hour drive to get there. It's about an hour and 15-minute flight, and you know that the majority of that is taxiing on runways, probably waiting in the air, waiting to land in Atlanta. So it's really not that long of a flight. But Delta has the monopoly on Atlanta. So it's frustrating that all of these flights go in there, and yet why is it so expensive to just get a direct flight from Charleston to Atlanta? That's where Skiplagged comes in, because Skiplagged is going to look at just getting you to Atlanta some way, somehow. So for example, it found that the cheapest flights for me was actually to book a flight from Charleston to DC. And there must be some sort of price war going on, or they might be introducing a new route, so they're trying to get the market used to going to DC, so they're doing promotional rates. I don't know what it is, but the rate to go to DC was $115 one way. And oh, by the way, that flight goes through Atlanta. So you just book that flight. When you get off at Atlanta, you're not going to get on your flight to DC, you're going to stay in Atlanta. So now you're saying, all right, Aaron, I got it. This makes complete sense. I'm now going to use Skiplagged wherever I go. Okay, bump the brakes just a little bit, because there are a couple things that you need to know if you're going to use this. One of them is that it doesn't work everywhere. Think about it. It works in Atlanta because there's a lot of connections in Atlanta. But if you are going the other direction, Atlanta to Charleston, there's not a lot of flights that go through Charleston onto somewhere else. So you can't use Charleston as that middleman to kind of cheat the system. So it only works where there's airports that have connections. And obviously airports that have the more connections, the more opportunities you're going to have to find a lower flight. So that's why we went through the list earlier of all the different hubs that each of the different airlines have, because you're going to have the better chance of finding some sort of promotional rate somewhere through those hubs, because there's just more connections through them. So there's one more thing that you have to remember if you're using Skiplagged. Everything you pack better go into a carry-on. So think about it. If the airline thinks that you're going, like in my case, if the airline thinks that I'm going to DC and not Atlanta, then they're going to check the bags all the way through. Good luck trying to convince the ticket agent check your bags just to Atlanta, because the airlines have become quite savvy with the Skiplagged method, and they seriously frown upon that type of behavior. So if your ticket's to DC, that's where the luggage goes. All right, so overall, you're going to save a lot of money by using Skiplagged if it works for you, that you don't mind checking your luggage and that you are going to an airport that's big enough, that has connections, so that the process works. But you know what? It's a free site. You might as well check it every time that you're booking flights. And if you're flexible that way, do it, because you're going to save a lot of money. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you like the video, press like. If you don't like the video, well, just press like anyways, because I think I have 4 followers, so yeah, why not? And again, I have 4 followers, so why not subscribe? And I'm going to be traveling to Atlanta, obviously to the Masters Golf Tournament, and then of course, as you know, to Charleston as well. And look forward to putting videos out there as well. Until then, have a good day.